Today, we have such a special guest, my algorithm boyfriend, the founder of Midas Touch Network, Ben Meiselas. Thanks, Ben, for joining us.
Good to be here, Pums. How are you?
I'm great. Okay, so I have to tell you, when I saw this post on Live Social where Trump breaks up with his followers, I mean, the things that hit me, the new scam that we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this bullshit. And then he goes on to say, let these weaklings continue forward to do the Democrats' work, even if they think about talking about our incredible, unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. What in the world is going on?
Well, he also held a press conference with the Prime Minister of Bahrain in the Oval Office where he was asked all of these questions about Epstein. And he said the exact same thing. He said that his supporters are weak and stupid people. And if anybody believes this Jeffrey Epstein hoax, I do not want you as a supporter. Look, Pumps, this is a very big deal. I mean, first, we're dealing with very serious subject matter. We're
Right.
dealing with a sex trafficking ring where Jeffrey Epstein was working with elites and billionaires to sex traffic little girls. This is a very serious issue, and people are rightfully outraged that a lot of the co-conspirators have been covered up. But
Right.
this has also been a disproportionately MAGA issue pushed to weaponize it in a way against their political enemies, and basically saying all these other people are on this list and that's why it needs to be released. And we here at the Midas Touch Network, for the past 5 years since we really started, we've been very focused on this issue because the links between Epstein and Trump are undisputed, and it is sinister and it is disgusting. The way I like to describe it is this: already from the Epstein files, if you want to call it that, the accumulation of all the Epstein out there, from criminal cases to civil cases, the full pie is 100%. About 10% has been released from cases already. If you were to run through in a chat GPT or something, who's one of the names of prominent rich people who are on this the most? Donald Trump's name would come up because Mar-a-Lago was used as the grounds. And I can say this without fear because it was where Epstein would find girls to sex traffic. It happened at Mar-a-Lago. And I can give you a specific example of Virginia Giuffre, 17-year-old homeless girl, gets a job at Mar-a-Lago at their spa to be the towel girl for rich people there. Ghislaine Maxwell, who is living with Epstein 2 blocks away in Palm Beach, they'd walk over. Ghislaine finds Virginia Giuffre as the towel girl. Hey, I want you to meet my rich friend or boyfriend, and there's some opportunities there. And that was Epstein's MO, was preying on destitute young girls and showing them this lifestyle of princes and rich people. And so Giuffre goes to Mar-a-Lago, finds Ghislaine Maxwell goes to Mar-a-Lago, finds Giuffre, brings her over to Epstein, and then she's trafficked from Epstein. Trump's names are all over the call logs, the black book that's been released. Trump's name's over there. The phone logs, the flight logs. Trump has said Epstein's a great guy who likes women on the younger side. Donald Trump's all over the depositions. Epstein was on Trump's plane. They're out there on videos partying together all of the time. So all of this stuff is out there, but this was MAGA's issue that they weaponized, and Donald Trump dragged them along. And usually Donald Trump gives them an out. And
Right.
the out that he gives them is, he follow the rabbit hole, and we're going to do this. It'll be at a later time. The secrets will all reveal themselves. And here, the Department of Justice, their first statement was that it doesn't exist, that there is no list, and we're shutting this down. So they went with that first. And then after, Donald Trump said in the post that you read and others, actually, Bondi's wrong. It does exist, but it was created by Clinton, Obama, and Comey. And all of this stuff we've been telling you about for all of these years is one big, gigantic Democratic hoax. And it's not a real thing. Don't focus on it. You're stupid if you care. So that's the full context of it, in my view. And you have to contextualize it that it's not a conspiracy theory of Donald Trump's links.
Right.
It is real.
Right. You see all these pictures of he and Epstein together. I think in my Mike Wolf's book, the excerpt is Jeffrey Epstein talking about his close relationship with Trump. Here's my question. And this is the thing, I'm sure our viewers get tired of me asking this question, but these are the people that can find a conspiracy in Pizzagate, Jewish space lasers, all of those things, but they cannot connect these dots. I mean, there's the metadata on the video is, they didn't even clean that up well. So do you see these people? Like, I'm to the point now, I think that these people are kind of in an abusive relationship with Donald Trump. So they're going to, he's done the gaslighting. Now he's telling him, hit the road if you don't like it, that they're going to come around. What's your thought on that?
I think the behavior you see is in cult behavior of cognitive dissonance, of believing that your cult leader is infallible and everything they say is accurate. And, the worst traits of your cult leader are actually projected on the enemy and the other. So it is rooted in a psychological kind of cult behavior, but cults run their course eventually. It's very hard to get out of a cult, often because of the embarrassment and the shame of having to tell other people that you've been had and played. So people in the cults dig deeper down the rabbit hole. The difference here is Trump is now shaming them, though, and saying that you are stupid and you are moronic for believing in the things that I told you.
Right.
So to me, it's a little bit potentially, and I say it's potentially different here because that shame he's done, they're fearful of that shame coming from the others who they've said, no, my leader is infallible. So I actually think that with this, of all of the issues, and it's interesting that this is the issue, but this one's different.
Okay, listener, we know how much disinformation and bad information is out there, especially in the news. And that is why Jennifer and I use Ground News every single day. Ground News is basically the Spotify of news, telling you who owns each outlet, where it leans politically, and whether you're reading original reporting or recycled messaging. And what's important about Ground News is they have a blind spot feature, and that feature tells you how the right frames a topic and how the left frames a topic. For example, Fox News says Pentagon scaling down National Guard deployment to LA. And then a left-leaning site says U.S. Defense Department will withdraw early from Los Angeles, part of the Army sent after protests. So you can see there's two different slants. And also Ground News verifies the factuality, so you know what you're reading, whether it's factual or not, who wrote it. So join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that we use every day. They are subscriber funded and female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work. That's Ground, GROUND, news.com/IHIP. And please see the link in our show notes. That way you can go right to it to redeem this discount. And it's so super important. You have agency over your news. Please check out Ground News. I mean, this is the issue. It's not the crypto crime. It's not the jet. It's not all the corruption. It's this. And I do believe, I mean, he has beat this drum for years and years and years about how all the Democrats are on it. And now we find out, oh, well, he's on it. So I guess my question to you is, you hear back and forth, like the Laura Loomers of the world, they're mad at Pam Bondi, like she's the problem. And we know that she's got thousands of pages worth of documents. And so they kind of want to make her the fall guy. I read back and forth, but in my opinion, it doesn't matter how many attorneys general you get in there. He doesn't want these files released. So do you think that Pam Bondi is going to be the fall guy ultimately in this?
No, and I don't. I mean, the MAGA influencers in their cognitive dissonance are trying to make her that. Oh, it must be Bondi. Okay, she did it. They need that. But the reality is that it wasn't Pam Bondi. It was Trump to Pam Bondi. And by the way, Pam Bondi was the attorney general in Florida when the non-prosecution agreement with Epstein
Yes.
was entered into. So she's got a history with the Epstein stuff as well. But Trump, in that Oval Office disaster with the prime minister of Bahrain said, no, 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 I support her. She did what I told her to do. So he's closing that door as well. And I think it is because at like the cornered rat or whatever, he's really in a corner here because he really did these things with Epstein. That's not the conspiracy. That's if he didn't do the things with Epstein and there was no worry about it, he would release these things like in a moment. I mean, he makes up things this past week about Senator Adam Schiff engaging in mortgage fraud in 2009. If anyone else was on the list that he could use to hurt them, he'd be the first person out there saying it. But again, going back to what I said, and this is where I want to remove the conspiracy and get to the reality, which is, why is he in the files? Why is he on the lists? Because he is. And a lot of this stuff is out there. Going back to what I said from the outset, we know he's on there because he's on there. He's Doe 174 in the civil cases. Now, by common logic, if there's a Doe 174, wouldn't that mean there's a Doe 173 and a Doe 170? Right. Isn't that a list of individuals? Doe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would be able to find there's terabytes of files out there. And if you were to appoint me as the special counsel, or back in the day when I was a lawyer, I could tell you where all of these documents are. It's not. I know where the documents are. There's grand jury testimony from a 14-year-old girl. She's now a woman, 14-year-old at the time, who testified at Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking criminal trial, who said she was introduced at Mar-a-Lago to Donald Trump by Epstein and Ghislaine. So I would ask, let's see her testimony. Let's see her. There are a lot of other witnesses out there and Epstein victims who mention, we were in Epstein's office. Donald Trump shows up into the building. He looks at me up and down. Epstein says, she's not the one for you. Epstein tells Trump to go into the other room. Like, I want to see her testimony. And by the way, the fact that these allegations are out there, Trump could still just say, well, these are allegations or whatever it is. Okay, but we deserve to delve deeper and to know the facts that are surrounding this. And again, to say one of the largest, think about it like this, one of the most disgusting crimes in the history of America and the world, what Epstein did. I think that's all undisputed. To say that that's a hoax, right, that's made up, what are you saying to the victims? That's like, when Donald Trump said that when he says he grabs women by their genitals and you get away with it, that's locker room talk. That's how we all talk. I mean, he has a pattern. And now he's saying the biggest sex trafficking ring was all a hoax. And think about what this does for Ghislaine Maxwell now, Epstein's co-conspirator. She has a golden ticket because she goes, retrial. The president of the United States says that all of this was a hoax, that the FBI, and who has more access to the FBI and DOJ than the president? The president says that the FBI and DOJ essentially framed Epstein because it's a hoax and it's not real. So why am I being tried as a co-conspirator? She's going to get she could potentially get a retrial. Ultimately, maybe the only way she won't get a retrial is kind of like the way the markets don't collapse anymore when Donald Trump does stupid trade stuff, because no one takes him at his, right. No serious people take him seriously. So I could see a district court judge going, well, the president said that, but he says a bunch of crazy shit. So whatever. I don't, but if a district judge rejects the retrial, it'll be based on Trump having no credibility. But think about that versus what he's actually saying.
Right. I mean, and he has no credibility. And what's crazy about this whole thing is we know about Stormy Daniels. We know about the Playboy Playmates when the Baron was little. Like his E. Jean Carroll, the billions of accusations against him. Like why MAGA just now is getting that he's a sexual perv, I don't understand. Like these super duper dyed-in-the-wool Christians, faith family, this was so easy to predict. But Ben, thank you so much for coming on with us. It's so fun. I hope to have you on again. And we so appreciate you being here.
Always great to be here. Love the show.